Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today we will be talking about the books I read in October. I read 3 books in October, and the first book I read was Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I've read John Green books before, or more like I've read one John Green book before. I read Looking for Alaska, and honestly I didn't really enjoy it. I know it's the fan favorite, but it wasn't really my thing. But this one I enjoyed much more. This book is about a girl named Asa, and she has OCD, and she and her friend try to solve a mystery of one kid's dad that went missing. And he's a billionaire and they want to find him, so they get a big reward. But it's not really about the story or about the plot, this book. The thing I enjoyed about it was being in Asa's head, because Asa has OCD, as I said, and John Green did a really great job at explaining how her head works, how she sees things, and how her OCD affects everything she does in her life. And I didn't really know a lot about OCD, but with this book I kinda know. I know it's not like the medical explanation of OCD, but it just made me feel like I understand it better, and John Green did a really good job. I won't say I loved Asa. She is a complicated person, and honestly I didn't really love any of the book characters from this book. But it's still great. It was really fast-paced. The words are big. It has just like 270 pages, so it's really short. And if you want to learn more about OCD, I highly recommend this book. The second book I read was If We Were Villains by ML Rio. And this book is really hyped, and I was excited but also scared to read it. A lot of people have read it, and I was saving it for October or November, and I buddy read it with my friend Vivi. And I also filmed a reading vlog, but I am not finished editing the reading vlog, so I will link it when it comes out, but it's not out yet. But If We Were Villains is about 6 actors that are studying at a Shakespearean university, and one of the people in the friend group dies, and the police is expecting how it happened, who it was, and blah blah blah. But I really enjoyed it. But I feel that 20% of this book I didn't really understand, because there are a lot of paragraphs from Shakespearean plays, and I haven't read a lot of Shakespeare. I have just read Romeo and Juliet, so I know nothing about Shakespearean plays. This book inspired me to read Shakespeare. I know I won't, because the texts are really complicated, and when there were the paragraphs I didn't really understand what they were saying. So you can read it without knowing anything about Shakespeare, but I still think that when you know Shakespeare, this book can be so much better. But I love the setting, it's dark academia, and also the characters. This is told from the perspective of Oliver, and all the characters have a lot of different characteristics, and they also every time play the same characters. Like James is the one who always plays the hero, Richard is one who always plays the villain, but then they like get it mixed up or they change, and you can see how much it affects them. And also it just really put me into the actor world, and I really enjoyed it, so I would recommend it. I love the characters, but I also felt like the author didn't really go in depth with some of them. For example, Alexander and Ran, you don't see a lot of them and you don't know all about them, so I can really make a connection with them. And also I didn't really connect with any of these characters. I don't know why, but I think I didn't have a lot of backstory and their relationship with each other. It was, yeah, it didn't really hit me. But the end, the epilogue was amazing. It changed like everything. It also, if you like Verity, you will like this end because it is kind of an open end and there are a lot of theories about the end, how it ended, what happened, and I still don't know what I think. You will be shocked, or like not shocked, but you will want answers, and there is no way you get the answers, so enjoy. And the last book I read in October is The Words We Keep by Erin Stewart. This book is my new favorite. I gave it 5 stars. I love this book, but I also will never lend this book to anyone, because this is, if I lend this to someone, it's like he will read my diary. It just it had exactly my thoughts and everything I sometimes feel in my head. It's in this book. And okay, I have to tell you what it's about. This book is about Lily, and she has a sister, Alice, and she found Alice one night when she tried suicide. Like, she found her on her bathroom floor, just with her wrist cut open, and it really shocked her. And Alice went to a rehabilitation center and she's back. And Lily doesn't know really how to deal with that she's back, because Lily is always trying to be the perfect daughter. Good grades, wants a scholarship to the university, being just the perfect daughter, because she feels like all of this burden on her of being the perfect daughter, because Alice put a lot of worry on their family, and Lily is now trying to not add to the worry. And this book deals in such a good and raw way with anxiety, and I think Erin Stewart is such a big thing she doesn't even know. It's not talked enough about anxiety. Everyone just says, don't stress so much, it's okay, it's not a big deal, take an inhale, take an exhale, everything will be okay. But it's not that easy. You can't just shut it off. The intrusive thoughts and ifs and monsters in your head, they come and all the time, and you just can't shut it off. You just have to learn to live with the monsters, and it's part of you. You can't just erase it. It is in your head, and you can see how much Lily struggles in this book with her monsters in her head. And sometimes it was so raw, and so I cried, and not because it's like really sad or something, because it was like reading my own thoughts, my own monsters. So it was a lot, and this has a lot of triggers. It's going, if you don't like themes about suicide, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, hurting yourself, having a lot of pressure. Don't read it. But I think if you don't like these topics, you even should read it, because maybe you will understand it more. The aspect I loved most about was that Lily just felt the pressure, like all the pressure from her family, from being the perfect daughter, on her shoulders, on her head. And it wasn't like her dad was giving her and putting all the pressure on her. Maybe sometimes, but a lot of the pressure, most of the pressure came from her, and we don't even know that we just put all of these things on us. It's not healthy. It's not who we are. We are people. We have to be normal. It doesn't mean we can slip up sometimes. That's just not possible. And if you just try to be perfect, it just shatters, and then you are really lost because there's chaos. Yeah, also there's this romantic plot in this book with a guy named Micah, and oh my gosh, Micah, a brooding artist that's funny and doesn't care what people think about them. I loved him and I loved them together. It's also like a little enemies to lovers, and they connect on the trauma and they get each other. Like they really see each other, and it was amazing. And I would really recommend it. I love the topic. I loved the writing style. I loved how Erin just wrote it. But I also think it could be less YA, because it's sometimes childish written. I still really enjoyed it and loved it, but I think if it'd been like new adult and not like so easy written, it would be even better. But still, I really like it. And yeah, also I forgot to say, Lily and Micah are partnered up on a poetry project. That's how they meet. A big part of the book is poetry, like Lily writing poetry, and some of the poetry lines were really good. For example, fight or flight, that's what they say. So what do you do when your body is too weak, when your mind is too crowded and your lungs are out of air? When you're tired of waging war on yourself, when you don't want to live and you don't want to die, but your fight has left drop by drop by drop, and the only thing left to do is fly. This book really made me want to even write poetry or read poetry, so I know I didn't do a good job explaining it, because my thoughts are so chaotic, but please just read it. Yeah, please just read it. If you like You'd Be Home Now, How to Make Friends with the Dark, Girl in Pieces, I'll Give You the Sun, I think you will also love this book. And that is all I read in October. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see each other soon. Bye!